What's going on, everybody? Happy match day to you all. Host Mo of the Max Football Podcast here to bring you a whole little bit of an update. There was some news rumbling throughout this week. Some stuff went down. The rumors were popping off. Some new players were added. Lots of questions being asked about the squad. And your boys got to get it covered before we go into this match against FC Dallas. Don't worry, match previews on the way. But before we get into that, let's get into this. Let's hit the music. Find out what the heck I'm talking about. Heck I'm talking about was rumor mill that scared everyone. Let's just go into the rumor mill first before we talk about the signings. And the rumor mill, again, went crazy for us in not such a positive way, because news had dropped that Club America and Liga MX were looking at making a move for David Vazquez. And a lot of San Diego FC fans were going bananas. And all this stemmed from a segment that went down on ESPN's Football Picante, and I want to say Sam Soltif, I'm sorry for screwing up his name, but there was a reporter that also came up and said that Club America were firmly advancing on a permanent transfer of midfielder David Vazquez. Again, San Diego's FC fans know on good authority just how good David Vazquez is and how good he could become, considering he is only 20 years old. Luckily, though, for San Diego FC fans, news broke about his inability, for him to play in Mexico until January of 2027. Now, the reason for that is because he can't register until January of 2027. So, because of that, talks are off, and I guess they weren't the only Mexican club considering him, but they were the one advancing it the most, or at least reports said so. And ESPN, I guess, I don't know how much we can trust ESPN these days anymore. And it looked like he could have, in with the midfielder, out with the midfielder type of thing, with Piorani coming in and Vazquez probably going out, but luckily for us, we caught a break. But for me, that just simply means that when the winter transfer window hits in December, more eyes are going to be on him than ever, and he may not be the only other player leaving in the winter. And yeah, I'm considering young player, if you catch my drift. There've already been rumors of those guys leaving before. I'm not going to say who, Bambino, but we never know. Hopefully no. We want to keep the team intact as well as we can. But David Vazquez's name will be on a lot of teams' lists come Christmas time. Let's see if Santa wants to hook him right out. I hope he hooks one team up with this next guy, because rumor actually dropped today that Chucky was offered to a Liga MX team. And honestly, I thought, awesome. The second I seen this, yes, he's gone. We've got rid of him. I'm not too sure of what the offer was, but it was more of like hey, do you guys want to sign him? And the team responded very quickly with no, thank you. And that team was Chivas. So we all know the Chucky situation. I really don't need to break it down any farther. Personally, I don't want to have anybody offended, whatever. My personal opinion, I personally think it would be best for us to just simply move on. It would be best for Chucky Lozano to move on from the club, and it would be best for San Diego FC to move on from the player. It just seems to be too much right now. And it sucks, because I like Chucky Lozano. I liked what he brought to the club. I liked the personality. I liked the gameplay. I liked everything. But I don't like a diva, and I don't want to get into that more. I want to get into the rest of it. So I say that by saying maybe that's the main reason why he's not getting moves everywhere. That's maybe why teams are shutting down offers rather than him simply rejecting him, because we've heard of him rejecting a couple of offers, but the rest of them have been he's been offered to other teams and nobody's bit. And I don't really, I know why. I'm thinking I know why. Hopefully it clicks. So it looks like a move back to Mexico is kind of off the table for Chucky Lozano, because even Cruz Azul has already shut the door on any idea of him playing for them as well. I know Pachuca is another one that I think that was his like boyhood club. Maybe there's a chance there. I really don't think he's going to be able to go back to PSV. I really don't think he's going to go to Milan in Italy or Inter Milan right now, because they're like the hottest team in Serie A. I really don't think he'd be able to get back there. I don't know what that means for him. Like I said, I'm one where I'm like, dude, you can put up and shut up. You know what I mean? Let your play do the talking for you, or go see who else wants to pay you. Maybe the Galaxy rumor ends up being more than just a rumor. But I will say this much: if he's still on the books come the winter transfer window, I'm gonna be a little peeved, for nicer words, because I just don't get how this organization can't figure out an option for him. And I get not wanting to just up and pay him, because that's the pain in the butt. But I'd rather lose some bread and relieve ourselves of whatever drama may be than continue to do the nonsense that is exactly that, the nonsense. So, speaking of nonsense, let's talk about the signings. I got two of them. One I'm excited about. The other one we have some head-scratching questions to ask and some other things. Well, we'll get into it. Let's go with the first guy. You're going to have to get used to saying his name, so if I butcher it the first couple of times, I apologize. Dagar Don Thorhausen. I promise you, Pop Soccer Dude is about to be on my nalgas by how bad I butchered that. So Thorhausen is the best way I could. I've dubbed him DDT. Okay, this man, he DDT. He gonna be out there. The one hit move. If you know what I'm talking about, wrestling in the background, it's a one hit move. You're out of there, Jack. Anyway, to get into Thorhausen, he is a 26-year-old right-footed right back who played all over the pitch during his time in the MLS, started his professional career in Iceland, winning an Icelandic championship in 2022. He would then bounce all around Europe, playing in Belgium at the youth level, and then eventually Norway, before heading to the MLS and joining Orlando SC in 2023, starting 12 of 30 games that year. Originally being signed as an attacking midfielder, they attempted to play him on the wing, starting as a left winger or right winger, playing him through the midfield, and they eventually found him a home at right back. He did score once over that time, having 4 assists in that season. That following year, he won the starting spot at right back. However, that didn't stop Orlando from experimenting with him, having him play again at the right wing, playing him in the midfield, playing him as a wide midfielder. They just love to experiment with him. And the reason is because, if you don't really see the pattern yet, he's so attacking. He's got good dribbling, very good pace. He has good passing, good progressive passing. That's one of the things I like about him. He is a creative passer on that side. He has no problem drifting over to the left and heading over to the middle. But if you check out his heat maps on SofaScore, you notice he is strong on the right side. Now, he isn't the tallest defender, 5'10". He isn't the strongest defender, but he is a aggressive tackler. He is somebody who's willing to go for the gusto. He's willing to push himself, get in there, and play at a physical level. Something that we haven't really seen at the right back position. Maybe since Aiden Harangi, and then even then Aiden Harangi only did it for so many matches, a handful. So, but the thing that, again, I talked about his progressive passing, I talked about his attacking prowess. That is the thing that has attracted him the most to Mikey Varas, is the fact that he is so attacking. Again, this guy has played as winger, for crying out loud. He's scored more goals as a right back than he has playing as a forward, but he has the ability to play up there because he can beat players with the dribble, and because he knows how to beat them, he knows how to defend against them. He's not the greatest aerially. He is good at ground duels. He will win some. Decent in clearance. He can play well in the box during coverage moments of corner kicks. 9 times out of 10, though, he's not in a proximity. He's not in an area in which to do anything. But when he plays hard. when Montreal lost him, and they only had him for 10 games, the fans of Montreal were going bananas. The only guy willing to play for the shirt, the only guy willing to bleed for the shirt is gone. Like, you traded him. Why not get rid of this guy? Right? The social medias for them went bananas. Absolutely bananas. The thing that I like about Thorhausen the most is that, again, is maybe just his attacking. He has that edge. There's not a lot of players you see in the MLS that have that, I will play for the badge. We see it in England. You see it in Europe. You see it in all Spain. I could go down the list of them. You play for the badge. You play as hard as you can for the badge. He's that type of cat. He's going to give everything he has. He's going to give you the Bombino-like effort. He's going to have the pace to go forward, the ability to go forward, the dribbling, the passing, you name it, he can go forward. But he's going to have that recovery. He's going to have that want to get back and fight and make tackles and ensure that he can be defensive. Now, the big issue that I have with it, or I wouldn't even say a big issue, is I wouldn't say he's not a defensive-minded player at all. He can defend. His defense is shaky. Again, he is an attacking hybrid fullback. He can go up. He can come back. He can recover well. One-on-ones are up and down. He's about like 68% win. But again, the way we play, his ability to get back is going to be what is more impactful for him than it is going to be a detriment. Now, my only simple question is, I wonder if he can play today, because having him on the right side alongside Bombino, I think would be like the most ideal fullback setting or fullback pairing I think we could have. So, before I get into the goalkeeper, and I'm just going to leave his name at goalkeeper right now, obviously I'll introduce him in just a second. I have one question, and it's a simple one, and I think a lot of us have that same question, is how hurt is Pablo Ciscaniega? Like, seriously, like, how hurt is Pablo Ciscaniega? For those that are going to ask me, like, why not bring back Jacob Jackson? The short answer is he's actually starting for Monterey Bay in the USL Championship, so I really don't think he wants to give up starting minutes to go sit on the bench. Leave that as that. The other one as well, we thought about maybe like what about the draft pick? What about the guy that the goalkeeper from that we drafted? Where were we drafted from? It's from UConn. I'll get into that when I talk about this guy towards the end. So let's get into this guy, Marcus Alstrup. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If I butchered it, I apologize. A 23-year-old Danish goalkeeper. Michael Alstrup. He's a goalkeeper, 23-year-old goalkeeper, Danish goalkeeper, who came from the Danish Youth Academy, winning a youth title in the process. He would get some senior minutes out there before heading to the United States and joining up with Austin FC 2 in the MLS Next. He'd spend 2 seasons appearing there, just 28 games over that time. During that time, though, he would concede 33 goals in 21 games, but did have 3 clean sheets. That was his first season in MLS Next. He would start MLS Next season, this following season, in, I want to say 24 or 25. He would start that season as their starter. Their first 5 games, he was the starter. And over those first 5 games, he would allow just 7 goals. He would have actually 9 goals over the 7 games. And I guess the promising thing about that is 2 of those games went into extra time. Actually had to finish with penalties. So he held out for not only 90, but he now held up for 90 plus minutes and then eventually lost in pens. So it's something that kind of gave him a thumbs up for, and I guess they were good games if you really think about it. And he's a project. He's a youngster. He's someone worth, I guess, giving a tryout to if we had like a youth academy. But see, that's the thing. That's the questions. Is Pablo Ciscaniega that hurt that we have to sign up a guy who's not even a backup in the MLS? We can't go get a backup in the MLS. We can't go get a backup in the USL. We had to get an academy kid, which is, I don't hate it. It just, I just wish we had our own academy to truly gauge his skill before we decided to give him a promotion. It just seems a bit rushed. I was going to talk about the UConn keeper that we drafted, Kyle Durham. And the fact is we never signed him to the first team. I want to say he participated, though, in the inter-squad matches. I'm pretty sure he had participated in the inter-squad matches, but he still hasn't been signed to the first team. And that kind of bugs me. He did end up going back to UConn. He's playing for the Huskies right now. And if he decides to go pro next year, we do have priority signing of him. And I think if Marcus here is still on the roster, he unfortunately may lose his spot because I feel that Kyle Durham is a better option. Again, he's a number 4 at this point. Because if you really think about it, if Siskinier goes down, he's basically the 4. But we need a third active keeper just in case. And we don't have a youth academy to have somebody else there. Because maybe he could be the youth academy keeper. We just don't have it. So I guess this is something that we just kind of have to be like, cool, it's going to work or it doesn't work. And it is what it is. So I figured I'd bring you guys the news. It's all the updates I have for you. The next episode I drop is going to be a preview to tonight's game against FC Dallas. We're going to need all the help we can get. We're going to need all the 3 points we can. We're so desperate for them. So hopefully I will see y'all at the snap as we cheer on our boys as they hope to make the push back to the playoffs where they were desperate to be. Until then, vamos. Yeah.
Winning true from both sides. San Diego, New York, London. Let's ride. It's Max football. Yeah.